Hi everyone, welcome back to my garage. My name is Serhan, and in today's video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the power washing setup I have in my garage. So let's get right to it. So I'm going to start with this section over here where I have my pressure washer and my hose reel setup. So this is just a quick general overview of my pressure washer setup. So this power washer is Worx. It's an 1800 PSI electric power washer. It's meant to be grabbed here and just kind of drag it around wherever you need to go. But as you can see, I've taken out some components. For example, underneath would normally be a tank for the soap. I removed that. I also removed some of the bars that hold some of the other components, such as the holder for the pressure washer one. I removed all of that to make it as compact as possible. And I basically just built this custom shelf to sit in kind of this awkward corner, where it kind of protrudes right here. So it just sits on a shelf just like that. And the other thing that I've done, I've actually reduced the length of the power cord. So this cord was about 12 feet long, and I basically just shortened it so that it sits much nicer in here, just like that. And I've got an outlet right here, which is really handy. I actually really like this unit. It's pretty powerful, it's quiet, and I like how it's very compact. And that was the key. I was looking for something compact that I could mount on the wall. This one could be mounted on the wall. Had I left the legs that came with the power washer, I could easily just mount it. But I decided I'd just build a shelf and just keep it on the shelf here. And I've got my supply coming in here, and it feeds directly into this retractable hose. And the nice thing I like about having the hose right here is I can just pull it right out onto my driveway, and then when I'm done, just reel it back in. So it's really nice to have this hose reel. Everything just looks much cleaner. It's easier to put the hose away. I do like the color of green. It kind of gives it a pop of color. So the power washer hose reel combo, I absolutely love it. It makes detailing cars so much easier. I just basically pull the cars out and pull out my hose, and then when I'm done, I can just reel the hose back in, quick and easy. Moving on over here, right next to the power washer and reel, I've got this setup here where I can basically mount my gun and my foam cannon, as well as my wand and all my accessories, all on this really cool wall mount holder. So extremely easy. This just goes in like that. This particular gun has a swivel, which is really nice. And when I'm done, just like that. It's a perfect spot to have this right here, especially with the foam cannon right next to the sink. This can just come out just like that. So it's really nice to have the power washer, hose, wall mount for my guns all in one spot right next to the sink. The sink is really handy for cleaning out parts and to kind of add to all of my bottles. So now moving under the sink, this is where I keep my buckets. This one's for rinse, and this one's strictly for wash. And I've got these two hoses right here. I use these for just filling up my buckets, so I'll just put it in and just open it up. So open up the valve. So it's really awesome, convenient that I can fill up my buckets while they're on the floor. So I'll just put, so normally I just have my buckets on the floor. I'll grab these hoses, throw it in there, open up the valve, and fill up my buckets, and away I go. So it's really easy to fill up these buckets, and then when I'm done, I just pour it in the sink here. And I've got these racks. These are from Grio's Garage. I've had these for probably like 10 years. I find this is really handy to just store all of my bottles. They're made of metal. So super convenient to have this right next to the sink. So I can just grab, for example, my bottle of soap, put in my foam cannon, install it onto my hose and just drag it right out onto the driveway. And having a sink, super convenient. Hand washer. Like, I try to make this setup as easy as possibly can. And I think this, to me, works for me. I mean, I'm not a professional detailer by any means. I just like to work on my cars, and being organized, I think, is a big component about enjoying detailing the cars. When everything is nicely organized and easy to access, it just makes the job a lot more enjoyable. And so that is my basic setup here. I've got this little setup here where I've got my polisher, and I've got these attachments for my wax and polish. So this stays here in my gloves. And in this cabinet here is where I keep all of my towels, other tools, polishes, etc. They're all here. And when those towels get dirty, I just throw them in that box underneath. I'm by no means a professional detailer. These are probably not, it's not a high-end setup, but for your DIYer, I think this is a really good step. I used to have a pressure washer that sits on the floor, but I kind of like having one up here dedicated. I like things off the floor. So anything that I can mount on a wall, I think is way better. So I do like the idea of the pressure washer right there. This piece is really nice too. It's made out of aluminum, metal. It's got really good quality. And hanging up your gun like this, it's just gonna prevent rust from building up. So when you put it up here, all the water just drains right out. So now I wanna move over to this side of the garage, where I have, first of all, I'll start with my vacuum here. This is a Bizzle Garage Pro. It's a really nice unit. It's very powerful. It has lots of suction. It comes with a really long hose. It's about a 32-foot hose. Comes with all the accessories. I like how the canister is clear, so you know when to empty it. It just looks really nice. I like the fact that you can mount it on the wall. So really liking the Garage Pro Bizzle. Highly recommend it. You can get it for a couple $100. Underneath the vacuum, I have my spot-free rinse set up right here. And so basically the way it works, I've got this hose here. So this hose I use for watering the front lawn, and when needed, I will use this for doing a spot-free rinse. In order to do a spot-free rinse, basically, I just set it up so everything is a quick connect. So basically, I just remove this, and I'll attach it over here. So then I'll just attach it over here. And then this piece that I just took out, I'll connect it back over there. So now when I go to turn the water on, it's gonna go through the spot-free filters and then into my garden hose. And then I'll use this hose for doing a final spot-free rinse. I don't find it's really much of a hassle to go in between switching these hoses out. I don't do the spot-free rinse that often. But if I do, the quick release makes it really easy. But I would say, I use this hose quite often for just watering the fronts. So that sits like that, and I've got this when needed. This thing works really good. So well that I've actually relied less on this unit here, which is basically a car dryer. This I got off Amazon. The nice thing about this, it's got two settings for your fan, so there's a low and a high, and two settings for your heat. And it's got a really long hose and a very long electric connection, and it just has these 4 little wheels. I always believe the less contact with the paint, the better, so air dry is always the best. But once I started using the spot-free car rinse, like, to me, this works so good. So after I wash the car, I spray it down with this and just leave it alone. just walk away, let it dry. It's completely spot free. And that's the best part. So much easier. Just rinse it after. Whereas with this, you gotta take this out, dry the car, have a towel with you. So I feel like this is so good that I no longer really have a need for that. I mean, I'll still keep it for, I'm sure there'll be a use for it, but not as much. Absolutely love this. It's an Aquatic Life spot-free car rinse. There's the model number 540565. At the very top, I've got a reel from our air hose. I don't really use this for any detailing, but I do use it for just working on the cars, and especially for applying a undercoating rust protection using fluid film. So I just connect this to my portable compressor, and then I'll connect that to my gun and add the fluid film and just spray underneath my truck. That's my setup right here. I've managed to fit everything in this wall right here. I was fortunate enough to have electrical connections already. So it's a nice clean look, very convenient. That's my setup over here. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys found that interesting and informative, and I thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.
We're the ones standing in the sky.